Welcome to Retirement Decoded with your host, Scott Tucker, where we break down the complexities of retirement planning to give you clear, actionable advice. Whether you're just starting out or getting ready to retire, Scott's here to help you make informed decisions and secure your financial future. Tune in each week as we simplify the process and decode the path to a stress-free retirement. Now, here's your host, Scott Tucker.
And we're back. Welcome back to the Retirement Decoded podcast with Scott Tucker. I'm your host, Scott Tucker. My one of our associate advisors with us here on the podcast today is Andre Hootie. Say hello, Andre Hootie.
Hello, Andre Hootie.
Andre Hootie. Oh, this is weird. Scott wrote the program, not me.
You wrote into the program? How
no,
nice.
A different Scott. So Scott writes into the podcast today, and he says, Andre, I have only been involved in positive financial planning for the last 7 years or so. What is it? Positive financial planning?
I'm not. That's the first time I've heard that.
I don't know what that means. So, Andre, I have only been involved in financial planning for the last 7 years or so. I'm reasonably happy with my progress and situation. I just crossed out positive. This is just weird. Andre, as I get older, my thoughts go towards wanting to make sure that the things I have get moved along intact as much as possible to my few heirs. All my financial accounts have payable on death beneficiaries or transfer on death beneficiaries set up, so I know those assets won't be caught up in probate and such. Okay, all right, I got you. However, Andre, the one large asset I have other than those accounts is the equity in my house, or really the house. Andre, it is a considerable value. I owe less than $60,000 on my house before it is paid off. How do I protect that ? So the equity in the house, it is a considerable value. I owe less than $60,000 before the house is paid off. How do I protect that ? So Scott is concerned with gifting. I'm sorry. He's concerned with leaving the house to a beneficiary.
That's what it sounds like.
Well, some states allow a transfer on death deed for real estate, not every place does. But how you might make sure it gets to the right person might be a will, although there are better instruments than that, like a trust. And then he continues, Andre, I know nothing about how to do so. I just wanted to go to my brother and sister, my only two heirs. Oh, that makes it simpler. Okay. If the most... It's a weird word. I just wanted to go to my brother and sister, my only two heirs, in the most unmolested manner as possible.
That's a weird way.
Don't want your house get molested. With as little as possible, going to courts, lawyers, etc. If you want to minimize court costs, you can't always cut the lawyers out. If you want to minimize court costs, lawyers, I'd say court costs like probate court and that. I would rather pay a lawyer for the trust to avoid paying a lawyer at the probate court. Probate court in America in many states right now is taking 1 year. In some places, it's taking thousands of dollars to settle a probate. I would rather have a trust that maybe you pay a couple $1,000s to a lawyer for, and then we save on the back end with avoiding probate, and then your brother and sister get the house right away. Right? Instead of waiting for a 1 year probate case, or Arizona, some of the probate cases now are taking 2 years.
Yeah, and what happens if something happens and there's another COVID and we go down into 3 or 4 year probate process?
Well, the other thing is, what if you're waiting 2 years to get possession of the house?
And then
my God!
And what happens if you don't get it?
Well, okay, so we live in Chicago. We're federally licensed. We can help folks all across the United States and its territories. Andre, what if somebody passes away in Illinois, and then they were to get tied up in even a 1 year probate? What happens in the winter?
Oh, it gets cold.
The pipes freeze?
Oh, they do.
Andre, you just inherited this house. Okay, great. No, you can't have it yet. How do we got to do something. We got to go to probate court, and I don't know, we got to try to get NICOR or People's Gas not to turn the gas off and to keep the pipes from freezing. And
it's all part of the process, you know. They shut off your pipes, then you have to get new pipes.
No, they shut off your heat. Your natural gas.
Well, yeah, your heat, and then
your basement floods.
Right. They
shut off the water.
They'll shut off everything, right? And then all of a sudden you have to do everything.
Well, I'm most concerned with the pipes freezing, Andre. That's where I'm going here. In the most unless without the with as little as possible going to courts, lawyers, etc. I got news. There's no way to not pay the lawyers. And then pass the house through the success. We'll have the successor trustee and the trust handle getting the house to your brother and sister. Now, we just drove by a problem there, didn't we, Andre? What happens when Scott is gone and his brother and sister are co-owners to this one house that they don't live in?
They are co-owners. That's the issue.
Yeah.
How do they get rid of it?
Yeah. So they're probably just going to sell it or anything anyway. But I would rather avoid the probate delay and expense by just put the house in trust, get a trust, put the house in trust. Not specific advice. We're not attorneys. But I would probably say you're going to want to get a trust, a revocable living trust, and check in your jurisdiction with your attorney. Name the brother and sister as recipients of the house. What happens nowadays, this isn't like, down on the farm. Your brother and sister are not likely to keep your house unless they live with you. I don't think they live with you from the way you're writing this, kind of inferring that. Your brother and sister are typically just going to sell the house. Yeah. And they're probably going to want it gone in 6 months, if not 3 months.
Yeah, if not 1 month.
However
quickly they can.
They may even do one of those deals. There's those private equity companies that advertise on the radio. They're like, hey, we'll just buy your house as is and we'll do the clean out and whatever.
Yep.
So the house, if it goes to the best way for them to get the house is quickly through the settling of the trust, which avoids probate. And then they're probably going to sell it a month after that. And your brother and sister will get together, they'll get along better, unless you want them to fight. If you want your brother and sister to fight, leave them a house they jointly own.
Hey, well, that's one way to get them to keep in touch.
Well, yeah. So that's really crazy. Huh.
Yeah, I speaking from my own experience, I don't think I'd want to own a house with my sister.
You don't think so?
No, I mean, we have different schedules. We have different lives, and then trying to manage one thing together. Yeah, it's just, it seems like a headache.
I don't think your wife would want you owning a whole other house with your sister. It's like, hey, focus over here. Yeah. What are you doing? You're dickering and dealing with this house over there that you own with your sister.
Yeah, no, it just seems like a lot of problems waiting to happen. I mean, I know people do it, but that's not my preference.
People do a lot of dumb stuff.
But also, and did they say how old they are? Like, it seems like
no, there's no ages in this. No,
I mean, it seems like this is more retirement age kind of brother sister, and he's worried about it, estate planning. So further probably in life. So I would imagine that your brother and sister probably don't want to have more chores on their hands later on in life.
Well, that's the other thing too. This Scott assumes that he's going to pass away before his brother and sister. Maybe not.
Yeah. Whatever.
Maybe you're the last man standing. Maybe your brother and sister leave your houses to go and
you have to deal with two more.
Oh, geez. Or with one of whoever's. It's like a race to the finish. Probably the person that gets off the easiest on this is whoever passes away first.
It sounds like it.
And Scott's usually a younger person name, not younger person. I'm 52, and I'm a Scott. But I sometimes meet people that are in their late 60s named Scott. It's not real common. But it was kind of, it wasn't really a common name at that point.
Yeah, you're right. I'm thinking like we don't have.
It's usually a little bit younger than retirement age.
Yeah.
Not always, though. So he says, I've only been involved in financial planning for the last 7 years or so. I'm reasonably happy with my progress situation. As I get older, my thoughts go towards wanting to make sure that the things I have get moved along as intact as possible to my few heirs, which he says later, just his brother and sister. All my financial accounts have payable and death beneficiaries. Like your bank accounts, big tip, your bank account ought to have a payable and death beneficiary. A lot of people don't have that. Or transfer on death set up. Transfer on death tends to be in a non-qualified investment account, not a qualified retirement plan. So I know those assets won't be caught up in probate and such. Well, because you have named beneficiaries, you'll avoid probate. So at least on those, you don't need a will or trust. However, the one large asset I have other than those accounts is the equity in my house. Is of considerable value. I owe less than $60,000 before it's paid off. How do I protect that? ? I know nothing about how to do so. I just want it to go to my brother and sister, my only two heirs, in the most unmolested manners possible, with as little as possible going into courts, lawyers, etc. Pay the lawyer. Just like, and a whole lot of things are just pay the lawyer.
Yeah. I mean,
even traffic court, just pay the lawyer.
Yeah, seriously. I think, early on he says that he wants to avoid the probate. and then he wants everything intact and to be easily transferred over to his family. I think that the easiest way to do that, and then to touch on his very last sentence, the minimal fees to the courts and the lawyers and all that, one of them is going to have to get it, either the courts or the lawyers. So give it to the lawyer, and he'll make sure you're in peace.
Well, if it goes through probate, there's probably going to have to be lawyers hired anyway.
Yeah,
and court costs and that. Usually, overall, when you study this sort of thing, whether it's selling an estate through a will or a trust-based estate plan tends to overall be lower cost. A will-based estate plan tends to be cheaper upfront, but more expensive overall. Also, with wills, you're opening yourself up to all kinds of. You're opening your estate up to lawsuits and things, and just a trust is a heck of a lot better privacy. Do you want everybody to know that your brother or sister just got your house? Something that happens all across the country. Anybody can go into probate court and sign out your file from your probate case. A lot of times, home remodeler type folks will do that to see if, is there an estate case? Can somebody just got a house through this probate case? Can I go over there and try to scoop it up for cheap, for a low price? So there's just there's privacy concerns. There's attacking of the estate. There are folks who are not entitled to the house trying to get entitled to the house. A whole bunch of stuff. A lot of attorneys, not to bash on attorneys, but here goes. It's a problem of consumers. A lot of consumers, like Scott in this question here, they want to pay the attorneys as little as possible, so they get like a $300 will. A lot of estate planning attorneys will say, well, okay, I'll treat it like a loss leader. Here's your $300 will. And then when you pass away, I get to probate this, and maybe I get $3,000 to probate it.
Yep.
So, or even an older estate planning attorney might say, okay, here's your $300 will, and I've got a filing cabinet, or a theoretical or virtual or physical file cabinet. When I sell my law practice, I get to sell this to the next younger attorney, and this is part of my pent-up equity in my business, that this young attorney gets to settle all of these wills through probate and get legal fees there. Mm-hmm. So I'm not trying to bash on the attorneys. I'm actually bashing on consumers for being cheap up front, that the way the legal business is and estate planning is the wills are the loss leader. And it's a pay me now, pay me later type thing. And all the research shows that you're better off to have a trust-based estate plan. Cheaper in the long haul and better for everybody too. Yeah. So now that we've pooped all over Scott, what do you think?
I think that sounds like that's probably the solution for Scott. I mean, we can't say for certain. You're definitely going to want to do some research and speak to some attorneys. But from what
I don't think he does want to talk to attorneys.
Well, I think he should, because it sounds like the biggest concern Scott has is avoiding probate and going to courts. And, so if you really are trying to minimize your costs, go see an attorney now.
Well, he's trying to save money on courts and lawyers. Maybe he should practice unlicensed legal stuff on himself.
Yeah, I would not.
It's funny. It's like when people, they don't want to pay an electrician, they want to go on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, at some point,
whenever you get on YouTube and the electrician on YouTube says, "Okay, first step, disconnect the power." Maybe, okay, wait a minute. How about you just do it?
Next, step 2, take the breaker box off the wall, disconnect all the wires.
We have had on our radio show, we've had folks write us questions about home remodeling or something.
Yeah.
Home repair. I don't know, this is Retirement Decoded. It's not, the home repair show.
Yeah.
It gets confusing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Scott, if you want to get on our phone calendar, you or anybody else listening to the podcast, just go to tuckerretirement.com. At tuckerretirement.com, you can see our phone calendar. Click and pick a time right there. And then we will talk to you 15 minutes for free over the telephone with one of our financial planners. Get your financial planning questions answered and your answers questioned. We'll talk to you down in the next episode.
Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. has a strategic partnership with tax professionals and attorneys who can provide tax and or legal advice. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions. A Roth conversion is a taxable event and may have several tax-related consequences. Be sure to consult with a qualified tax advisor before making any decisions regarding your IRA. The views and opinions herein are those of Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of AE Wealth Management, LLC. Investment advisory services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AEWM and Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. are not affiliated companies. Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. is an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through AE Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor. AEWM does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. are not subject to investment advisory requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual's situation. Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this podcast shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc.